What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about the Harry Potter RPG yet again. Talk about that rumored release date. Talk a little bit about Gamescom. Try and do a little bit of a recap on this game. I've really enjoyed pumping out videos a little bit more often than I have over the past year plus since I started doing this. And I really, honestly do appreciate all of your guys' support. As I've always said, if you guys want me to make specific videos on this game, definitely let me know. What those are. I'll absolutely shout you out. I'll absolutely make these videos as we get closer and closer to the game. Once the game gets announced, by the way, which I do not think is going to be today. I really don't, but we'll talk about it. But when this game does get announced, you can expect a much more consistent, uploads from me on this game. I'll probably talk about this game probably like 2-3 times a week. So there'll be a lot of talk on Harry Potter once this game, whatever the game is called, once this game gets announced. Okay, so let's talk about this release date first. I know that it probably made its way around the internet, although let me tell you this. Although I got sent this, I do want to thank Gerald, which is at Tunic Sauce on Twitter. Thank you so much for sending me this picture. What I do want to say is I could not find this anywhere, so I remember him sending it to me. I remember processing the tweet. I even replied to him. Okay, we had this whole talk, and then I was like, all right, I want to make a video, and I want to talk about this, and I tried to look it up, and I cannot find it anywhere. I couldn't find it on the Reddit, on the Harry Potter Reddit, the game Reddit page. I couldn't find it anywhere else on Twitter. I couldn't find it on Google. So, hats off to this man who found this. Now, does it mean it's real? Well, we'll talk about it, but let's go through some of the things that it could be real, it could also not be real. So, let's start at the top. Actually, it cuts out Demon Souls, which is funny that it does that because this game could be a launch day game, could be a game that comes out in the spring. It would have been nice to know wherever this guy got this, by the way. It would be nice to see what that was. But PlayStation 5, Destruction All-Star, so that's that kind of like Rocket League, like Destruction game, which says 3/14/21. Now, I'll talk about all of these at the end in terms of what I believe is right or wrong. We have Dying Light 2 on June 13th. We have Far Cry 5 on the correct date, February 18th. We have Ghost of Tsushima, the PS5 version, which is November 15th. We have Ghostwire Tokyo, which is also June 13th. We have God of War, which is also June 13th. We have Godfall, which is November 15th. We have Gods and Monsters, which is June 13th again. So you're seeing, by the way, you're seeing repeats here. But let's skip ahead. Gran Turismo 7, 11/15 again. Harry Potter, PS5, Harry Potter, June 13th. We also have Hitman 3, which for some reason is March 14th. We have Horizon Forbidden West, which is also June 13th. We have Kena Bridge of Spirits, which for some reason is March 14th. So here's the deal. When I first saw this, okay, I got very excited. I got very hyped because I thought there could be something with it. And then as I started reading through them, what I noticed, actually the first thing I noticed was for some reason Kena Bridge of Spirits. That was the one that for me sounded the red alarm, where I was like, you know what? Something doesn't seem right here. And the thing is, Kena Bridge of Spirits comes out this holiday. Okay, it probably is going to come out November. It's not coming out for some reason they say March. So when I saw that, I was like, all right, well, there's no way because that game is going to be a PS5, like probably a launch game. But now, as I read them out loud, which I did not do the first time, okay, I read them in my head. What's interesting is, okay, why are they all on the same day? There's basically November 15th is going to be like the greatest day of our lives. And also June 13th, get ready, because for some reason, let's go through it one more time. We are getting God of War, the PS5 version of God of War. We're also getting Harry Potter, and we're also getting Horizon Forbidden West. For some reason, all three of those games are happening on the same day. Now, actually, one thing that you could definitely look at to say that that's absolutely not true is the fact that why would two Sony games, I guess a next-gen port of God of War, one of the most popular, one of the best games ever created, and then also their flagship game, Horizon Forbidden West, why would they come out on the same day? The answer is that would never happen, okay? Another thing that I didn't even notice the first time I read it, or even, up until right now, is Hitman 3, the game comes out in January. In fact, they've confirmed January is the month that Hitman 3 comes out. Now, we don't have a release date, like a specific date, but it was January. This says March. So again, Firstly, why do they that day in March? What day is it? March 14th seems to be a day that like 30 games are releasing on. November 15th and June 13th are days that all of these games, basically every game known to man, they're all released. In case you guys didn't know, mark your calendar for those 3 days because those are the days that those games are releasing. Look, I do want to believe it, and anytime I see something like this, I want to give some sort of credibility to it. In fact, there was things bouncing around on the Mass Effect trilogy, Mass Effect Remastered, which I have always fully believed is completely real. I think it's releasing in probably late October. We'll get the announcement for it in September, but there were pre-orders for that game going around where you could pre-order it for the end of September. September 29th, I think, was the date, and then October 30th was the new date. And those were dates popping around, not in the same fashion as this picture, okay? But it was like gaming, it was like retailers that you could pre-order the game and it had that release date. I think one thing maybe you could look at is maybe these are all placeholder dates, but at the same time, I feel like this person could have not. By the way, not the person who shared it to me. I don't think he did anything wrong. I'm saying the person who put this thing together. They maybe they maybe like literally just typed it out in some sort of document and printed it out and started spreading it around. It's just look, June makes sense. I'm not saying June may never happen for Harry Potter. I think Gotham Knights changes things, okay? And in fact, we have to talk about that, right? Because the last time I talked about the Harry Potter release date, I had always used Gotham Knights, which would be the Batman, the game I had always said was the Batman game, and then Suicide Squad, Rocksteady's game. I always used those to help me figure out when Harry Potter comes out. I think you still can. I think it becomes more and more apparent now that Harry Potter is the fall of 2021. I think it's before Suicide Squad, but after Gotham Knights. June is possible, but also maybe unlikely. Depends on how far the game is along. So, yeah, I want to believe it, but at the same time, there's just way too many things with that picture that's completely wrong. Okay, so that's the first thing. Now, really quickly, I know Gamescom is like, in like 3-4 hours. I do just quickly want to address that. It's not, I really don't think it's happening. I think that there always is a possibility, and I never want to kill hope, okay? In fact, I think I'm one of the beacons of hope, especially for this Harry Potter game on basically the internet, so I definitely don't want to do that. But, what I will say is this. Gamescom is definitely at a higher bar this year than I thought it was going to be. You look at all the things that Jeff Keighley has said or is going to be there. Honestly, remember I've always said Gamescom, I've always thought of it as maybe like lower tier, like middle tier, where you're going to get decent sized games, but you're not going to get the biggest games of all time. Now, Harry Potter, if that game was announced there, it still would be, I think by a mile, the biggest announcement at Gamescom, but they do have big things. Crash 4 is a big game. Star Wars Squadrons is a big game. Mafia is a big game. Destiny's DLC is a big thing. You know what I mean? And Call of Duty, like the sneak peek there. I mean, those are some of the bigger games this year, still coming out this year. So do I think it's possible Harry Potter could be there? I honestly do. I just, again, am not going to get my hopes up. I think that it's definitely, I would honestly say more likely than it was like 2-3 weeks ago, just now because we've seen where I think the bar is going to be set for Gamescom. I think it's actually going to be set much, much higher than I had given them credit for. You could say, well, Warner Bros. We know is going for Lego Star Wars because Lego Star Wars is announced to be there. At the same time, could they show more than one thing? Is it just Star Wars? Do they want to get Star Wars out of the way? So now they've done all the DC stuff in terms of video games. They've done the DC stuff. They've done Star Wars. All they have left is Harry Potter. Okay, Monolith would be later. Injustice 3 would be like next year, right? Harry Potter is the last one. I think that it's definitely possible, but I would again say it's not likely. I really wouldn't say it's likely. But with that being said, we're right at the end. We've talked about this Back to Hogwarts event, which is very, very exciting. I know they're doing like a Lego thing there to again try to like squash the naysayers or even people that, because I understand, trust me, because of the whole Gotham Knights stuff, I understand when people, and even Harry Potter, I feel like I know what it feels like to have hope and then have that hope kind of go dark and then bring it back. I feel like I know that more than pretty much anybody, not just because of Gotham Knights, which other people can say they've been a part of, but also because I've been a part of Harry Potter, and trust me, in the 2 years, I think that there's been so many waves of people believing it and then doubting it and then believing it and then thinking it got canceled or thinking it's not real or whatever. I mean, it's been such a roller coaster. The game's real. The game's happening. We know it. I mean, we just know. Jason Schreier said it. Again, you can not like the guy all you want, including myself. I don't like him, but I do believe him when he says stuff like that. You look at all the talk about Gotham Knights, all the people saying, oh, that game was canceled, the game's not ready, the game just started a few months ago. I mean, come on. Those people just really don't think very hard, do they? So Harry Potter, I really do think is happening. I think that just because it doesn't show up later today at Gamescom, I think that we're still going to be okay. Could it be at the Back to Hogwarts event? I still think probably unlikely, but I do think I've been saying it for a while, right? September and October, I really do feel like we could get something there. Do we have to wait all the way to the Game Awards? Maybe. If we did, I mean, that would be, it would suck. It would be quite a wait, but then I think it would almost be a slam dunk that we would get the game there. I know some people have said, like, well, maybe they'll do teasers like we got with the DC stuff. Well, I mean, Batman had us go through, like, literally a detective case, okay, for like a week to do it, but Rocksteady just literally said, here's the game title, here's a poster, see you at DC Fandom. So they didn't really do, like, a week-long tease. So could they do something like that for Harry Potter? Yeah, or this, this wizarding game? Yeah. Is it, like, necessary? No, they could just drop it, I think, on a dime, and I think it would be completely cool. So, as I always say, I really, really love making these videos. I like to kind of do recaps to try to, and even kind of reinvigorate people's energy and their hope in this game. I do not, again, think it's likely. In fact, if you think about it, the video has overall been depressing, but I feel, and kind of like a negative in terms of like going against things, but I feel still very, very good and feel very hopeful about Harry Potter. Hopefully, you guys do too, because funny enough, the video talked about the release date not being true, in my opinion, and then Gamescom also not happening, in my opinion. But again, with that being said, I do think we're going to get it really, really soon. So, guys, let me know in the comments below, what do you think? Are you still excited for this game? Do you still think this game is real? Keep the hope up. I truly want you guys to keep it. Breaks my heart sometimes when I see people say, like, oh man, I think the game, maybe it was real and now it's not real, or maybe it was never real, or maybe they canceled it because of J.K. Rowling. It's guys, you got to hold on. Like, look to Gotham Knights, truly. Look to Gotham Knights to kind of provide hope. Look at what we've gone through. If you guys have watched my coverage there, if you guys have heard me talk about it, look at what we've had to go through with Gotham Knights for the past 5 years to get it. I mean, it's been an insane journey that can never be replicated, only closely replicated with Harry Potter, okay? But look at what Gotham Knights went through, and the people, like, ready for that game to kind of spark you guys. Like, it's definitely going to happen, okay? Make sure, as always, you're subscribed, have the bell icon turned on. If it is a Gamescom, holy Jesus, I'll obviously be covering it. If it's not, no biggie. We'll talk about it. I'll make a video maybe on the weekend or early next week. We'll talk about the Back to Hogwarts event, and then I'll keep on going until we get this game's announcement, okay? Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all on the next video.